Greetings, citizens! Justiguy has arrived, and we are talking about visual novels while I play Bomberman Max Red Challenger. Now, where we left off last time, I was talking about voice acting, because I, as I said, just did not realize this was such a big deal for people, and apparently it is. I mean, you know, what can you do once you come to this realization, once you've learned this knowledge? Like, I don't know. I mean, personally, I just, that's not something I care about as much. Like, I mean, I've found times I would turn off the voice acting, not because, I wonder if it has to just do with how much someone is a reader versus a gamer, and how much maybe Japanese they can pick up or whatever, or know. Well, no, that wouldn't make sense, because the Japanese audience wouldn't. Anyway, I guess in my opinion, it's like, I just don't... For me, a lot of times I would find you being able to hear the voices often was just distracting from reading, you know? Especially when some lines would just keep going into the next line and blah, 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 and it's like, you know, fuck that. I'm here to read the visual novel, you know, not fucking hear the audiobook. If there's an audiobook or an anime, cool, but that's not what I'm here for, you know? I hope that makes sense. Anyway, you son of a bitch. You son of a bitch. So that, I really just did not expect, and it was, there were a lot of comments about voice acting too, like that was really what surprised me, like, it just, that seemed to be a big one, and I never would have imagined that that was such an integral part of the experience for people. I don't even remember what this, this thing wanted me to do. Oh, I need to go to the fucking, the thing, that's right, I don't need to blow up anything anymore. I mean, you know, you do when you don't want to die, but... Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Up here, I'm guessing. No! No! Oh, shit. Oh, this is not good for me. Okay. Okay, fine. I'll go a different way then. Anyway, maybe it's not up there. So yeah, the voice acting just really threw me for a loop. Like, that is just not a thing I would ever, in a million years, have thought. And I guess that's all I can really say on it at this point. But, I mean, you can't really help that one. I mean, you know, like, that is what it is. It's just... Are these things gonna fucking follow me if I go up here? I hope so, because if not, I can't go on. Okay, they kind of did, but can I get back in? No, I can't get back in time to fucking do anything about it. That's just fantastic. This is fantastic. Oh, this is fucking fantastic. This game, Jesus. Anyway, is there an entrance up here? No. Oh, that I need. Like, you English visual novels, you really won't be able to do anything about that. And then you get back to that whole, oh, it's trying too hard to be Japanese. Oh, it's not authentically Japanese. Well, what? Where does having Japanese voice actors fall on that? Like, that seems very weird to me, you know? Ooh, that hurt. Yeah. Oh, I did it! No! Damn it, Chucklefuck. Alright, hoping I got it. Anyway, Oh, no, please, no, please, no, please, no. Oh, yes, I had the fucking heart thing, thank God. Wait, is it not up here? Oh shit, if it's not up here, I'm fucked. I hope it's up here. Oh! My God, I spent all this time trying to get in here, it's not even here. Shit. Shit, is it over here? I thought this just ended. Oh man, just like right... No, it's not here. Where the hell is it? Is this somewhere I didn't go? No, I guess not. Well, we're about to find out. And he just self-destructs. Is that how Bomberman works in games like this? Time over! You just self-destruct? Kind of morbid. Anyway. What was I on just then? Yeah, this whole idea of, you know, they're trying too hard to be Japanese, or they're not Japanese, like... I will say, I do think it is kind of an issue that... Because this is something I noticed, and again, no offense to anyone in said Discord if you should happen upon this video, but... Jeez, I didn't know they could do that many at once. But, like, when that we were doing, after a Let's Read, we were doing, that's where we all read a novel together. I was, we were suggested some, we were playing Cards Against Humanity, and it was very fun, but I suggested, some cards referencing, what I thought fairly standard visual novel stuff, like, stuff, it should just be, like, common sense if you're, interested in doing this, and admittedly, it is, I think it's fair also that you shouldn't, like, whoever the first book was made, right? Like, I don't know, was it Beowulf? Whatever, if you're not from that country, you should still be able to write a book, right? It's the same, I do think, should apply to visual novels, but if you're trying to sell and market them and all this, and develop them, and so on and so forth, it does feel like, anyway, what happened was, I got, nothing against them, I get it, like, I mean, but, or you guys, if you should happen to see this video, which I can't imagine, but I was told that, like, a lot of those references were too, niche, or a lot of people hadn't played the games, and, again, that's fine, because, like, fuck. Sorry, I apologize, clearly, is what I get for, I hope it doesn't sound like I'm bad-mouthing him, because these people, have been amazingly helpful for me, and just, I think, it's awesome. But I do, as far as this piece of criticism goes, I have noticed this too, and it does kind of make me raise my brow, in that a lot of, it seems, English visual novel developers apparently aren't familiar or haven't played a lot of the Japanese ones, and understandably, if you're spending all your time trying to make something, as I've found out this past month, you ain't got time to fucking read. That I get, but... And similarly, it's not like, visual novels invented the idea of, interactive fiction, choose your own adventure. Like, some could make the argument, stuff like Telltale games and all those are basically a form of visual novels, or that, whatever that Detroit robot game was, or whatever, or NaNoRenO, those kind of things are in, like, or like, I think of them as, like, I think I mentioned this at one point here. Not here in this series, but, they feel like the movie, if these are visual novels, then those are, like, I guess the movie equivalent of that, if that makes sense. Maybe it doesn't, but anyway. So you could argue that it's not like you have to be understanding of the Japanese originals and blah, blah, blah. But, I keep jumping around, I'm sorry. Like I was saying, it does strike me as odd that so many folks just wouldn't have played this stuff, A lot of them have, don't get me wrong. I mean, and I haven't played a lot of the ones that I'm very, I don't play, like, for example, I don't play any Aero games, so there's that. Well, I guess Fate, does Fate count? And Love, actually, maybe that does. I don't know. Well, I guess I'm thinking Nuki game? I don't know, there's, The point is, there's the subset of these that, like, I avoid because of my own elitism, if you want to call it that. So I get that, but I also know, which ones are liked, which ones are good, or considered good, and all this other nonsense, but I don't know, like, again, I'm not trying to, like, I hope this doesn't sound like I'm talking smack or anything, because that's not my intention. I guess I've been rambling like a fucking idiot. Thank you. I guess it does feel like, at the very least, if you're trying to put stuff out to this market... Whoa, a dragon! Oh, this is a boss! Oh, I think I remember this. Is this one of those ones that, like, extends its head or something? Yes. Now, is it going to be like that one... Not the one, but it's going to be like a thing where it loses more of its body as it goes on? Those are always neat. Oh, man, this is annoying, actually. Anyway, Get him, yeah! Anyway, do I bait him, or no? I guess I don't. Oh! I didn't expect him to do that! Anyway, no, missed him. There you go. Get him, yeah, I know. I know, like, if you're trying to sell to a market, I think it is a fair point that, you should try to be familiar with what the market is expecting, right? Does that not make sense? I think that makes sense, but... What do I do with Justiguy? Let's save, I don't want to get fucking stuck here. But, like... I've been rambling on this one topic for too long. It's like... If you're trying to... To be fair, it seems more like less an issue of the creators not knowing their market and more this market in particular just not being into this thing or whatever, which is fine. Like, again, no judgment or any of that nonsense, but this one might actually be hard to do without. Oh, hey, never mind. Please don't hurt me, though. It does feel like it is fair to say, you know, you should. Damn it! You should be, you know, somewhat familiar with what your audience is expecting, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I mean, to be fair, there's a lot of English visual novels I should probably do with playing, and if it is that the fans of Japanese visual novels, like myself, aren't, then I might be going about things the wrong way. Like, I don't know. I might be thinking too much about this or something. I don't know, but I don't know. Like, I guess that is another point I kind of get. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Anyway. However, as I said, you shouldn't need to, have read the original books to be able to write a book. And you shouldn't have to, visit... I'm getting close to... I'll just dump this in. There's a mindset going around that, you can't write about a thing unless you've lived it. This is probably a very controversial thing to say. I kind of think that's wrong. Or it shouldn't be something we're encouraging. Don't get me wrong. If you need to do research or something to improve your writing, that's one thing. But if you're saying you can't do it, then I feel like, one, that's just not right for, I think, what I would think are the obvious reasons. But for another, if you can write about fucking, and this isn't to say there's an equivalency here, but if you can write about fucking aliens and, anything from science fiction, nothing in the actual real world should be an issue, in my opinion. Unless you are totally devoid of empathy or a willingness to research, then it should not be a problem like people make it out. That's not to say, it isn't a problem. I'm sorry, I'm just ending this video with a fucking tangent, but this has been building up in me. Yes, obviously a person who has, lived the experience would probably write better about it, or maybe just have their own perspective on it. Or not maybe, obviously. God, fuck. But if it's if something is bad, it shouldn't, the reaction should be, well, obviously it's bad because they don't know it or whatever. What about it's bad because they just did a bad job, or it's bad because they weren't a good enough writer, or it's bad because they didn't try, instead of saying, no, it's bad because they're not this thing, and so thus they can never do it as good as, and that may be true, I will say, that may be true. At the same time, I think this is a mindset that's getting way too common, considering, again, if we're talking about fiction, if I can write about, like I say, a fucking dragon, which does not exist, so I hate to break this to you, if we can come up with made-up species, made-up races, made-up worlds, and give people empathy towards them, and, create, a connect there, I really don't understand how, at the same time, we're supposed to also think, but when you're talking about a real-world thing that, exists, is just a thing that exists in real life. Here, it's normal. Sky is blue. Da-da-da-da-da. How is it that is the thing you have to have lived? But I hope I'm not coming off too aggressive. I'm genuinely asking. I just don't understand how these mindsets can coexist. I almost feel like you shouldn't be a writer if you feel that way, because you're kind of saying people can't write anything except what they know. I mean, a little bit about me. I find I write female characters better than guys a lot of the time, but, should I am just a guy. Does that mean I should not, because I am just a guy, should I not write any female characters? Why not be able to do that? I mean, there's all kinds of stuff like this, and I realize this is you might say, oh, you're a guy, you're coming from a place of ignorance, and hey, that's fair. ignorance has, become this stigmatized, it's this horrible, terrible thing. No, if you're ignorant of something, if you don't know it, it shouldn't matter whether or not you're ignorant. What should matter is whether or not you go to do something about that ignorance. So yes, I am ignorant of many of these experiences, but I have not, I have, I'm sorry, this really did get into a rant, and I was, My point is, ignorance should not be an excuse or a way to just overlook doing something wrong. Like, if you did something wrong, it shouldn't just be, you are not this, you did not do this, that's it. Like, if you fuck up, hey, if I'm fucking up in this conversation, same applies, fix where you fucked up, learn about it, and I mean, yeah, some people won't accept that they're wrong or whatever, but ideally, in an ideal world anyway, that shit wouldn't matter. Like, in my opinion, the ideal world is we can have media of all kinds, all genres, whatever. So, you know what? If people aren't at least ignorant, bunch of bullshit, not like offensive ignorant, but just from a place of not knowing better. So long as people who do know better, people who do have empathy, are putting their own stuff out, whether or not they are or aren't, then the thing, you know what I mean. That's what matters. Like, I'm sorry if this is a crazy rant, is totally unwarranted, unjustified, unjustified, ha ha ha. But I don't know, like, as someone who's always loved writing and loved, exploring imagination and stuff, that is something I really don't agree with. That we're trying to say, hey, you can't write this unless you meet all these qualifications. Like, and that goes for anyone, anything, anywhere. Like, that doesn't mean what you write will be good, but it does mean that, maybe it's coming from a place of, ignorance, but that doesn't mean, you can't help that. Doesn't mean maybe even from the ignorance, if you have empathy or imagination, it wouldn't matter. Like, if you could create a totally foreign culture, not, I can't think of anything off the top of my head, because clearly I have none of the skills I'm talking about, then, you should be able to do the same with, again, something that is real, normal, and part of life. You can do it wrong, yeah, but we can do things wrong for a lot of reasons from a lot of places. Like, if a game is bad, for example, it's probably not going to be necessarily because of, say, you're not like a fucking little short plumber man, or a blue hedgehog, or whatever. That's probably a bad example, but I think you get the idea. Sorry, this was then way off. Yeah, I guess what I'm saying is that is something that bugs me, like, and so I guess tying that time back into visual novels, and I'll wrap this up in a second. When people judge English visual novels because they're being too Japanese, I think that isn't fair. Now, I do get the whole, I think cringe culture is fucking stupid, but sorry, but I kind of get where they're coming from, especially with the whole, or mainly with the whole, but there's real Japanese games that do better. But at the same time, so many Japanese games and anime and stuff, use Western settings, Western ideas, and no one really gives a shit, or at least to this extent. And, maybe it's just because different cultures in Japan is a different thing. But here it's like, oh no, you have to, you're not a this, you're that, you're not a fucking elf, or, I'm sorry. I feel like those things, like, imagine if Doki Doki Literature Club had not done what it did, and it just played it all straight. Honestly, it's still, the art's good, music's good, it's well put together. I don't think it should have to necessarily be judged for, appearing Japanese, and the fact is, it still does. It is very Japanese-looking, inspired, Japanese, all that nonsense, so, again, the way people look at this stuff, which was, I guess, my main point, I don't get it. Like, it's not that I don't get it. I understand, but I really disagree, because I feel like that is just anti-writing, anti-creativity, anti-expression. I'm not talking about, like, stuff that's, like, purposely going out of the way to, like, be an asshole, but just, if you're genuinely trying to write something, then that's, again, call it out for being bad. If they are ignorant, that could be a reason for why it's bad, but that doesn't mean they shouldn't be able to do it. That doesn't mean they should be allowed to improve, you know? Like, I feel like all of this advice, the way that we're talking about rules, and these rules for writing, these rules for partaking in entertainment, all that's doing is just, like, dividing us up, dividing, you know, our culture up, I can get into fucking copyright, too, while I'm at it, but, like, all this stuff just seems to just split stuff up instead of, you know, sharing and enjoying and having empathy for each other, and that's just, I don't think that's cool. And yeah, even if it is just, say, making like a freaking, I don't know, random guy from America making a visual novel that is very much like a Japanese one, that shouldn't be, you know, an automatic qualifier for whether or not it's good or bad. That's all I'm saying. And at the same, now, when you're not putting the heart into it, or when you're just going through the motions, yeah, it could be bad. But I don't think the reason, there's the big thing, should be, see, they're just emulating the Japanese, but since they're not Japanese, or since they're da-da-da-da-da, that's why it's bad. No, it's bad because it did these things without being good, without having the heart into it, whatever. I don't think in a situation like that, for example, the creator's place of origin, or birth, or residence, whatever, is even relevant, you know? Like, if they're just going through the motions, if they're just shoehorning in tropes and not really doing anything with them, if it's just bland and generic, then none of those things have anything to do with, as you notice, these list of things I've just said, have anything to do with where they come from, what they like, what they've played, any of that. So that one, I have an issue with, as you can see by the fact that I've just went on to like a fucking 10-minute rant. So, you know, I'm gonna wrap this up now. I need to get some water or something, just fucking, you know, quench my thirst and all that. But, yeah, citizens, how do you feel about that? Have you just figured that, oh my god, Justiguy, you're an insensitive piece of shit, even though that's really not where I'm coming from, or just, are you an asshole you're an asshole that talks smack about people in videos no one watches? Again, really not my intention, but if you took it that way, call me out. I apologize if that's how it came off. Really, I am an idiot in a lot of respects. Maybe this whole video has shown you respects that I don't even realize, whatever, but I am always open for learning. Like, I feel like that's something just people need to do more of. So anyway, yeah. Going off tangent, I'll get back to talking about those English visual novel criticisms next time. Thank you for sticking with this fucking crazy rant through to the end if you have. And, yeah, until next time, I'm afraid that this is farewell.